means that which means that the income that we have coming in from YouTube will fill in all the nooks and crannies.
I like your broadcast name there.
What is it?
So we're on Google Plus now. It's under
I know. I'm saying
things that make you go
It wouldn't let me pull
That's
it
very
up.
fitting. So
It wouldn't let me pull it up underneath the old name.
Right.
So, and now I don't have a thingy. What's the black one plugged into?
You can unplug the white one. It will just run the battery down. That would be the mouse. That was the mouse.
Okay, then I will unplug the mouse. And so we're feeling really blessed, even in the midst of feeling like, what did we think we were doing? Did we really think this was important as we thought that it was? And the answer is yes. We do think that the homesteading is incredibly important. And that's why we're not selling the house. Instead, we want to have renters. Is because we believe that much in what we're doing. All right, let's bring you in a little bit closer.
So again, YouTube Live, we had to unload Facebook, which is horribly tragic, and sorry, Facebook guys.
So we have both going right now?
Yes, and that one's off of mobile, and that one's off of our internet. So
okay. Feel very close to the camera.
Hey, but now all of a sudden we're transmitting and getting good data out of YouTube Live. So can't see anything.
We'll see if I can now go back to my list of things. Okay.
It's only a 15-minute to get things rolling, you know. We'll get there.
Yeah. So this is how we did it. If you want to know how we went from being extremely responsible financially to actually feeling like, hey, we're getting some blessings out of this. This is where it started. Is 3 years ago, John and I, we saw that we were going in and out of debt to small degrees in order to advance our family, to feel like our family was in a better place financially. It started with the wood stove, and then John went and got the Lincoln, which cost him $2,000. He put another $2,000 into so that we had a functioning vehicle.
Yep.
But those things went on credit cards, and then he was busting his butt in order to get it paid off very, very quickly. But he was exhausted. We didn't have money to buy shoes for the girls.
Sharon's asking if we're going to be homeschooling on the road. That's that's one of the big reasons that we actually decided to do this, is we felt it's a very important core value for us to homeschool. And it looked like we were not going to be able to do it.
Yeah.
The other option, if we stayed here, we would have to put the girls in school.
I would have to put the girls in homeschool or in public school, because there's not enough time in my day to keep our freezer full, to keep the Etsy business going, to keep the YouTube going, and John's working part-time. And so his money would cover
mortgage and bills.
What? Yeah. It wouldn't cover everything. And okay, so let me go back to the story.
Sorry. Hurry, there's going to be another great comment.
So 3 years ago, we were desperately trying to stop getting these little bursts of debt. The living here on our homestead was a lot more expensive than living in town because of the unique situation we found about the watering situation, and that because we came here to homestead, we had to fix the watering situation, which was really expensive.
Right. How's that now? So, hammock. Sorry. Is that light better? They're mentioning it. Go ahead.
And so what happened was that John was killing himself. He was working 12-hour days. His back was hurting at that point. It wasn't like it is now. He didn't have blown discs at that point. But it was before he got damaged. But it was causing him a lot of pain. And he was coming home at night with tears in his eyes because he was so tired and so worn out. He didn't want to interact with me. He didn't want to interact with the girls. I'd have dinner ready, and I'd look all pretty and everything to welcome him up the stairs when he got home and be excited to see him. And he would just be like, I got to have an hour. I got to have an hour. I got to decompress. I got to go have a beer. You don't talk to me.
Family Roots Farm. Hold on to that question. We will get to that as the story progresses.
And so I had to learn to just back off for 2 hours after he got home. And it didn't matter that I had just tried to put a really nice dinner on the table. I was trying really hard to be a good housemaker, housewife, supportive wife, and it just wasn't enough. We felt like these dreams were really important. This preparedness, self-reliance dream was so important that we'd gotten ourselves saddled with these small amounts of debt that we didn't believe in having. And so I'm like, okay, I can't have him yelling at me when he comes home at night. I can't have this. This is bad for our marriage. And yet I need shoes for my kids. And we didn't believe in going on food stamps or any kind of assistance. And honestly, we might not have qualified for it. I don't know if we would have or not. We never applied, but it was really just where we stood. And so I'm like, okay, I've got to find some way to bring in money. And so this was the point where I went and got a babysitting job, where I went and babysat for 3 or 4 days a week for another family. And I took the girls with me. It meant I wasn't home to farm, but I would do my chores at 4 o'clock in the morning so that I could be to their house by 6 o'clock in the morning to take care of their kids all day.
Yeah, so she was running herself into the ground as well.
Well, but that wasn't the point. I was willing to do it if it got us out. And so at that time, whenever I wasn't babysitting, I was watching for things like tree companies on the side of the road, looking for firewood so that we didn't have to buy firewood. Everything I could do, to, if for no other reason than to make him feel supported. Like, he was working these 12-hour days, and I felt like I had to at least show him some measure of actual, because remember, my love language is work. And so I'm like, he'll know how much I love him if he sees me, how hard I'm working to make sure that every penny stretches as far as it needs to. So I was doing all this love language towards him.
Which, back to the dynamic, you know, she was screaming it and I wasn't really hearing it because it was a different language. So.
And so at that point, that was when I said, you know what, let's see, our babysitting job got, John came down with bronchitis.
From the babysitter.
For 6 months through the whole winter, he had bronchitis.
Yeah.
And it was really scary because as soon as we would get well, the kids that I babysat for would get sick. And so he was a courier, which means he was out delivering packages with bronchitis. And it was really, really scary. And he wasn't getting better. And so I'm like, okay, I can't babysit. What else can I do? And I'm like, you know, I really love YouTube. I have all this stuff that I think is really important, all these things I'm doing to help my family.
Right. And it was. But
were you into it?
Yeah. Well, no, I had a hard time with it because
of the privacy thing.
Number one, yeah, it was a big thing about the privacy because that's hard to become a face online, you know, and I don't know. Anyway, these guys are really on their game tonight. They're talking, you know, Palmetto paratrooper, he wouldn't even go to the VA, and yeah, we're along the same lines, you know, the government handouts. We are not about the food stamps. And so. Not
that we don't feel there's a place for them. If I was a single mom and I didn't have any way to, like, if I had the money to pay the rent, but I didn't have money for groceries, I do believe that first you go to family. If you have needs, I think you never want to be indebted to somebody that isn't your friend, that you don't know loves you. So first you go to family. And then you go to church and you ask your church for help. And then if those avenues have failed, then you go for food stamps because you don't want your kids starving.
Candace, yes, we will stay on YouTube. That's one thing we're going to be talking about a little later.
But we wanted to tell you the story of, okay, so 3 years ago.
This is how we got here.
That I was like, YouTube, I think I could do this YouTube thing. I've seen other people do it, and all you have to do is be consistent. And so I started the YouTube, and I loved it, and I was so excited about it. I didn't really know who I was, who I wanted to be, and I felt like Play-Doh in the hands of my audience, like who did they want to see that day? And that was kind of stressful. But the end point is, because we went into that situation, we're still paying off our debt. Now that the YouTube has paid off, we have the ability to just wander off and do what we want to do within the limits of still being fiscally responsible. It's not like we're going to be having lobster dinners.
Yeah, there's no chance for.
But we will be, you know, we'll take our food storage with us. Right now we're trying to sell our hay trailer and get a horse trailer so that we could take our goats with us. And so here is our big plan. And this is the exciting part. So we want to help other people that are our community to get their YouTube channels going. And we want to see the amazing things that you're doing. And so we have what we're hoping for is that in our RV as we go across the country that you guys will be willing to host us for a few days. And in that time, we will take videos if you want a YouTube channel.
Yes.
We're not insisting.
Or if you just want us to come see you, because we're happy to drop by and say hi and see what you guys have done too.
Yeah. So if you want to host us, then write to dirtpatcheaven@gmail.com and name it, we want to host you. And then what we need to do at this point is we need to take the US map and be able to do a chronological distance map so that people know when about we'll be there and who's next. And we want you to make up a list of the videos that you think we should take with you.
Right.
And if there's a big cluster of people all in one area, then what we're kind of thinking is maybe we could do one of you as a host, and maybe we can meet at a park and do a meet and greet. Or if the host is willing, maybe we could do a class at your homestead and we can show people how to butcher chickens or whatever.
Doug and Stacy are saying a few months. I'm hoping that's how long they want to invite us over.
What did they say?
They said a few months. Yeah, apparently if we're
planning eventually, where we're aiming to get to is Just So Trish. She's in Florida, and that is where we're planning on spending the most time, just parked at her place. Yep. After we have visited everybody. And then of course there's the home trip back, where it would be another series, but we're kind of focusing on the trip to Trish's. And so we're thinking this will last several months.
Yep. We got a bunch of them coming in. Go for Green, of course, Deep South Homestead. They've already offered. Thank you guys. Yeah, you're getting up. Go ahead. So go ahead and just email. It'll email directly to Julie, and it's dirtpatcheaven@gmail.com. Did you want to say host?
And we're
sounds very official.
But then it needs to be consistent. Yes, we want to host you or something like that. But it needs to say host early so we can catch it. And so we're planning on leaving in October. The reason is that gives us 2 months to get our animals either sold or to get our trip. We really need a horse trailer to protect the goats so that we don't have dogs or bears jumping in. And then if we are able to bring the goats, we need you to have somewhere safe for us to graze the goats so that they can get out of the trailer and safely, even if it's a barn, it needs to be something that's not the trailer.
JRC Homestead, Texas. Yes, we are probably going down through Texas on the way. It would be a little later in the year, probably late October, early November, we would get towards you. So like she's saying, just email us.
Yeah, and a big part of it is we believe we want to be part of our community, and we feel very isolated right now. We have a few friends that do what we do, but we just desperately need to get out of the house. And we really want to come see everybody. And so, and the other thing is it's so much fun to see what your projects are. And if we make a really great video, then everybody now knows about your channel and that it's associated with our channel, and it just brings that network and that community that much closer together. Mm-hmm. So that's where you email us. And we have differing opinions about which direction we should go. I think we should go.
Grizz wants us to come to Oregon. We're thinking about it.
That's where we're going
definitely
first.
Try. You'll be one of the first ones if we can.
We're going to take some small trips here to make sure that the RV, what year is it?
78. It's older than we are.
It's older than we are by a year. And so
we're going to have to tell them how much.
Right. And so we want to take a few small trips, and those trips would be to Permies, Paul Wheaton up in Montana, and Esther from Fushiomatic, and also Corinne from the Fresh Pea. And then we want to go visit my sister up in Washington. And so we are going, I think we're going to try and do that. The problem is the longer that Mr. Dirt works, the better off we'll be to have a little bit of money to take with us. So we're trying to find that happy place between I can't pack the whole house by myself, and the longer he works, the more money we have in our pocket to take with us. And so, but we can't leave until he quits his job. Yeah,
which there's no stress at all, considering we've had this financial responsibility since before we've met. So let's see.
Okay, so I'm going to stay focused.
Will you do live Homestead Network shows on the road? Yes, Empty Hammock. Thank you. That is exactly what we're planning to do, and it's one of the fun. He wants to do HSN shows.
What is that?
So Homestead Network. Yes, we will be broadcasting. You might have the background of the RV or something, but Yeah.
Well, and kind of what we're thinking is that the wife of the homestead that we stay at would do a Braid Girls with me for Fridays, and it would be a live show. And then I'd have my regular edited video for Saturdays, and it would probably be about living off grid in the RV. It would be something about food storage in the RV or about milking goats when you're off grid in an RV. So we're going to still have a very informational. Maybe we'll be doing wild crafting. Maybe we'll be teaching the kids bush crafting. Who knows, if I'm not tied down to the homestead, what I can teach my kids, which is kind of exciting. So it'll still be the big video on Saturday and then the Homestead Network on Sunday.
Okay, Rain Country Homestead. Washington is a possibility. Where, go ahead and email us. Like we said, dirtpatcheaven@gmail.com.
And don't exclude yourself just because of where you are.
Right. We want to cover
everybody.
Yeah.
I
mean, we're staying out of California and New York and Illinois. Yeah, because of the gun laws.
Really?
Yes. So sorry, but we'd love to talk to you guys if you're stuck in those communist countries. But I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I don't feel that way at all. I don't think we should exclude whole states.
We're not going to California. Anyway, with love from Idaho. You need to escape before they build you the wall. Go ahead.
I love California.
Ooh, Amish, Indiana. Yes, Anne Ray, we'd love to. So.
That's not fair. Okay, so let's see next. Okay, so what has been happening on the homestead this week? We've had some geese that have flown over their fence and then been very, very loud in the morning, and I have no patience for that whatsoever.
Yeah. We find our fuse gets
my fuse
at 5 in the morning.
We're both very, very light sleepers, and so when we don't get some kind of sleep, even neither of us sleep enough, and it leads to some irritability. But anyway, so
well, we could down
yesterday the girls and I butchered one goose, and then this morning we had 2 more that were out. So maybe God is just helping me so that it's incremental rather than all at once. But 2 more geese were out this morning, so Paige and I went out and caught them, and I woke John up saying, or no, you were already up. Weren't you already up?
Yeah.
When I came in.
Back was hurting.
I'm like, okay, I need help butchering these geese. We got to get them in the freezer because my mom wants. The other thing is we have a renter coming, and I have 2 freezers full of geese and ducks and rabbits. We've got another 20 ducks to butcher. I mean, it was our winter supply of meat, and I can't leave that for a renter. And so my mom wants it because they appreciate good meat. So we're going to take it to my mom. But that whatever we don't butcher, we need to sell. So that's kind of what we're doing. So it was really nice. It was very romantic this morning to butcher geese with Mr.
in tandem, side by side, just talking about ideas and things.
Wasn't it nice?
It was pleasant. I liked it.
It was nice. Kind of like I think
my
cuddling.
Love language.
I kind of think cuddling is pleasant.
Right.
If it doesn't go on for too long.
Work is pleasant if it doesn't go on for too long. Yeah, that works. Yeah, I like that.
Right. So butchering geese, and then we have rabbits to butcher and or sell. I'm kind of leaning more towards selling them because I think they're a little young yet to butcher. We have quite a few of them, and right now we're going through a lot of feed because I'm not having time to go out and clip weeds. Usually I am clipping a lot of weeds, but lately I've been trying really hard to be a lot more patient with the girls and help them with their chores, and which means I'm not getting onto my chores. So once again, it ties back into the one person cannot grow food for 4 people unless it's all they ever do, and I have other things that I do.
Do you want to answer Robert Price while he's up on Google+?
Do you have a church fellowship that can come alongside to help you all?
You know,
when we move, we definitely will.
Yeah.
Our congregation is very, very good about having all the men come and help you, which will be really nice. So I will wait for us to move anything until I have first taken everything out of the house that we don't need and that we wouldn't need if we were in our tiny cabin.
Right.
Did I say that about plunking a cabin on the back pasture?
I don't think so. If we decide we want to come back, is when we have worked it out with these renters that, look, we have the possibility of plunking a tiny house on the back.
Yeah, I talked to her specifically about it. I said, this is the one thing, is that, because she wanted to know how long we were willing to rent to her, because she wanted a very long lease. Everybody's wanted a really long lease.
And she's like, we'll just give you the house for the term of the mortgage. What the heck?
But I said, well, here's the problem, is that once we go out on our road trip, one of the things we're looking for is to see if we want to live somewhere else. Is there somewhere else that's easier to farm at than where we are? Or is this the best there is and we're just burned out and we just needed a break? Do we want to be able to come home? And if what we find is that, we really just love our own farm, then when we get back, then I still don't want the big house. It drives me crazy when the kids destroy it, and when it's expensive to try and fix it. It's just too much for me to keep clean and do all the important things that I feel need to be done. I want a little house. So I said, we would want to plunk a little cabin in the back corner and you'd still have everything. She said, yeah, go ahead. You can do the farming. You can do the watering of the orchard. You can do everything you want to do. We just really want the house because we want to be close to our grandkids.
Grandpa's Farm's got a good question. What are we going to do if the tenants follow through?
We had such a list of people that wanted it. It's crazy. We
spent half an hour on Craigslist and found these people, and they were the third to contact.
These were the second to contact us, and we have a list of 7 people that want to come out and look at it. But she was the first one that actually physically called, and she's insistent that she wants it.
If they torch the house, then I guess that's what we have a property manager for. But even then, we have no longer any love for this house. The land we still
love
like.
The house. It's done good things for us, but I love my kids more.
And our family is more important, and it's taxing on those two. So
and our rent is very low. We're asking $950 for the rental, and in our area, $1250 is the norm for a house out in the country. And so we went really low on it because we weren't necessarily trying to make money. We really wanted homesteaders. We wanted somebody that would come in and love the land while we were gone, and so we put our rent at a price that we felt like maybe a homesteader could afford. And yes, Tangi, I want to come see you, and it is so exciting.
So a bunch of people are talking about canning meat. Did you want to give your opinion on that one?
I don't like to can things because I find that our family's stomachs prefer fresh. We feel we have better energy to get gross. Our bowels are more regular when we don't do a lot of canned goods. And so do I think that, if it was a prepper situation, definitely can your meat. If it's clean meat, which would be something that's split hoof and choose the cud, Levitically clean meat, then you could dry it, you could salt it, which is what we've done. We've done that with fish. You could do that with, if you do it at the right time of year, you can put a deer or a beef in your smokehouse, and as long as you don't have cats and stuff that get into it, it will just dry out and form a pellicle. In winter, it'll just freeze. Otherwise, you cut it into strips, you salt it, you smoke it, and it stays good. And so I do prefer drying and salting to canning, but if you don't have those options, I think canning is awesome.
For sure. Let's see. Okay, Country Crafts. I don't know. Sorry, I'm only half paying attention to everything right now.
Hey, Cinnamon.
She says, how cold does it get there? Assuming you're talking here, -42, I think, was the coldest.
And I was alive at that point, butchering calves that froze to the ground. Lately, the coldest has been about -20 Fahrenheit. That's how cold it got last winter.
Which is still enough to make your nose hurt, and you can feel all the hairs, and it's horrible, and the snow goes crunch, and you can't be in it for very long.
But the nice thing is that this renter doesn't want to use wood. She's sensitive to wood smoke. So when we get back, we'll still have a 2-year supply of wood in our woodshed.
Bluegrass Bound Homestead. Apparently she's right by Tangi. So yeah, we'd love to come visit you. While we're over that way. Oh, Cinnamon was talking to Kathy. So zero tolerance for that. Yes, we tree bonsai. Agreed.
For what?
Anything about 0, yeah.
Oh.
Yep. And go ahead. Hundreds in the summer, get -10 in the winter from Teresa Dean, Virginia. That is nice.
That is nice.
Sorry, we can move on.
So that's what we're looking for. Is only because we've never been out of the tri-state area do we wonder, is there another place? We would love to move to northern Idaho because there's more rain and it doesn't get as cold there.
It's part of the Pacific Northwest.
But
monsoon.
The prices up there are the same as prices here, and what we're aiming for is a small place that we can plunk a cabin on and be debt free. Yeah. That is the end thing. If we don't keep renting and we sold, we would want to be able to pay cash for our new place and be done with a stupid mortgage.
Right.
Let's see.
Go ahead and talk for a minute. I gotta go check something.
So as far as girls and chores go, or girls and girls life, is we need to restart homeschool. And the last little bit, I don't know, I like to be able to do something thoroughly, and I don't like to switch back and forth between Mr. Dirt doing homeschool one day and me doing homeschool a different day. It seems better when one parent just kind of takes over and knows where they are and everything. And I do like to be in charge of their homeschooling. And I think, I don't know, I just feel so strongly, you need to be focusing on your kids. You need to be focusing on your kids. And so I have some classics that I think that we'll be packing up, and some fictionalized stories of like the Revolutionary War and other things. We'll take a math book, we'll take some spelling books, and we'll keep it very simple. So that a lot of what we take for books will be their story books. I would assume that their school books packed in one space will be about this wide. And we're going to focus really hard on math. We're going to focus on spelling, and we're going to focus on reading, and we'll do geography as we go. Like, remember on the globe? Well, we're here now.
Right? Good news. We just got another phone call about the house and wanting to rent, so that'll make a bunch, 8 more. So if future tenant to be, if you're watching, thanks for calling. Anyway.
And so that's what I want to do for school. And as far as like physical stuff out of the RV, I think we'll go for walks. I think we'll try to take our bikes so that when we want to be able to park the RV, we can, and we can go see a city that way on bikes. What else? And
we can use the goats as pack animals.
Well, the thing is about goats, this is my one worry, is that it doesn't matter where you are, there's always going to be dogs roaming. And that's my one concern with the goats, is they are a prey animal. And it's why I feel really strongly that if we take the goats, we need to find a way to be hosted so that we can let them out. And so there's a possibility we won't be able to take the goats, but we really want to.
Edward Little, your question, email us, dirtpatcheaven@gmail. My email, dirtpatcheaven@centurylink.net. I will tell you how to do that because I had to change mine to get over to Mr. Dirt from my former handle. So let's see.
Simply Circus, I do like Nebraska. I've been to Nebraska. I worked there for a little while.
Yeah, she was working right after we met and started dating, and that was a long distance relationship. That was not fun. So,
yeah.
So
let's see. We do have homeowners, but it's renter's insurance, and it's a little more expensive to have renter's insurance. Yeah, shotguns do stop roaming dogs, but I'd hate to shoot somebody's dog right in front of their house because I was out negligently walking my goat, knowing that there was a possibility that they'd be attacked.
Right. Sorry, who walks their goat anyway?
I do. Yeah. I walk my goat, but the thing is I've had that problem here where I started a war with a neighbor because they had a dog, and I very kindly, or maybe stressfully, asked them to keep their dog on their property, and we ended up having a saga with this neighbor, which is really unfortunate. But
it's ongoing.
Well, it's not ongoing. It's after the police had to be called. It's no longer ongoing.
Right.
But because I told them that I would shoot their dog rather than just shooting their dog, they hate me. Right. But I didn't want to shoot their dog, and so I told them I would shoot the dog if they hurt my animals. And so there is that. Is sometimes it can be so complicated. And we have friends who the dog got into their barn and was in the act of killing the animals, and he shot the dog, and the people came back and threw a Molotov cocktail into the barn with the rest of the goats and into his car and burned down their dairy barn with all their beautiful baby goats and everything in it. And so for me, it's about...
Why don't we want to stay in Idaho again?
No, this was in California.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And so for me, it's about, I can be the biker on the side of the road that insists on having the right of way, or I can be the living biker who decided to move over a little bit. And that's how I feel about my goats, is I'd rather not make waves if I don't have to, and possibly risk the life of my goat on top of that. After losing Cloud last year, I am not ever willing to, that was so horrible. I'm a little bit of a coward on that now. I'm just like, protect life at all costs, I'm afraid.
Right. Okay, Edward, I'll try and get to you. I see he sent me your email. I'm going to actually delete that right quick so that nobody else sees it. And I will try to get to you.
Yeah. Okay, so what the girls have been doing lately is they're a little slow to wake up in the morning, and they love their baby goats, but they're not always as willing to go out and take care of them as they need to be, which is normal with any child's pet, but we have about 75 of them. And one of the reasons we have as many rabbits as we do is because when it gets to butchering time, I have such a hard time butchering all of them, because they want to hold on to their favorites. Mom, please, just save this one, save this one. I've done that several times now. And so the woofers and I just built brand new cages to hold these extra rabbits, and then we add in baby goats that they love, and we can't keep 2 bucks. One of them has to be gone, but how are they going to pick which one it is? And so even though I sound like the nasty, mean mom who's like, yeah, I always yell at my kids, there is the thing that I am also the mom that is like, I do want my kids to be happy, and I don't want them to be sad because we butchered all their animals. But having as many animals as we do and not butchering a whole bunch more of them, but the kids get so upset. It really upsets me when the kids get upset about it. And yet at the same time, they don't play with the bunnies all the time. You know, they'll play with them occasionally. Yeah, we do have homestead quail. They're out in the greenhouse. We're going to have to figure out what to do about that, because I told her she could use the greenhouse, but I don't think she would have to feed the quail.
Right. I think that was another...
Was it another person they're saying hi to?
The chat's going about 1,000,000 miles an hour. I'd love to jump in and talk during this time, but I'm listening. And you guys are awesome. You guys are just on it tonight.
Okay, so Paige is still doing the nighttime milking with chamomile so that she can feed the babies on the bottle. We have put the baby goats out on their leashes in the back pasture, just like the rest of the goats. And the reason for that is they're getting herbivorous enough that they're starting to eat fruit bushes. And so they have to stay on their ropes, the same as the other goats, which breaks my heart. I wish they could just run around and be free forever. But once a tree has been nibbled on as much as these babies do, for as many years as they have, they get stunted. And it's happened before where I'm like, oh, I don't want to put the baby lambs on a leash yet. No. And then I don't. And then they eat the tree, and then the tree never recovers.
Tina asked if the goats need to be vet checked. Yes, and immunized. We give them their shots.
Yeah. So we have to take them into the vet and get it so that we can cross all state boundaries.
Hay is going to be...
I'm not that happy about.
Yeah. Let's see. So they're asking a lot of the questions. Health insurance, we're working on that one. Where we're in Idaho, they don't have expanded Medicaid, so we are not. Yeah. So let's see. Michael R. over on G Plus is asking YouTube or Google Plus. Well, I don't know under what context. Around here, right now, we're using both. So
let's see. Do we have anything else? The pastures look good. All the trees are doing amazing. Everything is growing really good and strong. I'm only watering 5 days a week, which sounds like so much, but I go and I flip the switch and it goes to a certain line that needs watered. So everything is only getting watered once a week. And which means that the mulch is working, I'm getting enough water to everything. And we have an exceptionally dry area, and yet once a week watering has been plenty with our system. So that's nice. So when we're gone next year, if we're still gone in the spring, then the renter will be able to handle it.
Apparently it's a little soft on YouTube Live. Sorry guys, we're gonna work on a microphone and get a better one for next time. Bye Jerry. So
So can they really not hear us at all?
Well, it's just super quiet up there.
So can't we bring it closer?
Because the microphone is clear back. No, because then we lose the signal and then it's buffering.
This
the joys.
Is crap.
Isn't it?
I don't think we should do it this way again.
Why? The YouTube stream's healthy now.
I know, but they can't hear us.
All right, so we'll get them.
So we need to project. Project. Okay, guys, we're gonna project.
So.
Okay. Let's see. Favorite book I wanted to talk about is The Art of Asking. And so, in my days before I met Mr. Dirt, I was pretty feminist. Slightly angry feminist, and I loved the Dresden Dolls, and there was a song called The Coin-Operated Boy.
And Alanis Morissette, but we won't.
No, it wasn't Alanis Morissette.
No, Coin-Operated, I remember that. It's the only good song that they ever had.
Yeah, it was really good. And but the female singer for Dresden Dolls wrote this book called The Art of Asking, and I think it's just so brilliant. And there's nothing feminist about the book that she wrote. I would call her more of a humanist, which my dad would find fault with too. He doesn't like humanists, socialists, anything that ends with ist.
Capitalist?
Except for capitalist.
Anarchist?
Libertarian is about all he wants. Anyway, so I really like to educate myself about what other people believe in. And so even though I'm not of a feminist bent now, I do not think that being feminist keeps you from having a really good brain and having a really good point. And so I love The Art of Asking. And what it is that she did the first big musical Kickstarter because she really disbelieved in what her big record label was promoting, which was that they tried to Photoshop her belly out of the art that went onto CD. They tried to Photoshop her belly flatter, and she refused to let them do it.
Homesteadist.
Homesteadist, right? And so she refused to let them do that. She felt like it was so wrong. She so felt that humanity is about humanity and not about photoshopping, and so she refused. And so she was able to get out of her record contract with them.
Goose butcherist. And
in order to pay for her next album, she went on Kickstarter, and she ended up coming away with like $2.5 million funded off of this Kickstarter. She was the first big record album to do that. And so what this book is about, The Art of Asking, is about our need to communicate with those around us for the things that we need, and that's what relationships is about, to be able to look at someone and ask, not beg, not demand, but ask, and to have the response, to have faith that the response will be yes, and that's what love is based on, is that trust that when the question is asked, the answer will be yes. And it's phenomenal. It's an amazing, phenomenal book. I've restarted it 3 times because I'm listening to it as an audio book. And I think for me, what it comes down to is lightening your plate so that when people ask and they have a real need, that you can answer yes. And that I think that really comes down to when Christ was talking about that if someone asks you for your coat, give them your cloak too, and not being so attached to worldly belongings. Not that we don't want to take care of our families, but that if we're so caught up in the rat race, are people able to ask us for what they need, and are we able to ask others what we need, and have that be an open communication rather than all the strings that we attach to our lives. So I think it's amazing, and I can't remember what her name is. And
Dresden Dolls.
No, she is the lead singer for Dresden Dolls.
Right,
let's see if I can find it. Because Amanda Palmer, because I've got it on my computer right now. And so that is an amazing book. And then also don't forget that we have our podcast coming up tomorrow. The video going up tomorrow will be a little snippet of it. And Cinnamon and I, which Cinnamon is here in Country Craft Woods. Where are you, Cinnamon?
Just Country Crafts, I think.
Country Crafts right now?
Yeah. Chime in.
Our podcast tomorrow is kind of dealing with this, in how to get through hard times in And these podcasts have really been a blessing. We talked a lot about God, talked a lot about scripture. And for those of you that God and scripture isn't your thing, you might not like the podcast because we talk about it a lot. But it's been very therapeutic for me. I think I almost started crying on the last one because I was talking about losing my aunt. And yet what a blessing it was to be able to be there for her. And so that's what the podcast that's coming up tomorrow is about getting through hard times. And yet sometimes as you come out of those hard times, it's what transitions you into something bigger and better. Like for us, hardest 6 months for our marriage, I think, since John's back got hurt because...
Do you think it was? I thought the first 6 months, or the second 6 months. The first was, when
we were expecting Paige.
Well, no, the honeymoon phase was kind of just waning, but all the responsibility was starting to kick in, and
yeah, that might be so.
Places getting broken, and
it's hard to be pregnant and going to school full time and working part time
and not eating.
Yeah, I was very hangry. I guess feeling like a grown-up. This is the first era where I really felt like, oh my gosh, I'm the grown-up here. I have to feed people. I have to make all these decisions. And we had people dying. We had people going missing from car crashes.
Yeah.
We had a husband whose discs went. We had pigs that died suddenly that I had to go butcher in the middle of cleaning the chimney. Okay, I was cleaning the chimney to find that we had pigs that we had to go butcher. It was all like, I don't want to be a grown-up if this is what being a grown-up is about.
Yep. Empty hammock. We've been married 10 years now.
11 in January.
Almost 10 in March, April.
Depends. No, it's 10 because Paige is 9.
Okay, so it's, depends on which date you want to give them. It was either...
We eloped first and then we got married later.
Right, 2 weeks apart. So it was a good April Fool's joke because the marriage everybody knows about was on April 1st. So it was a good time.
It was.
Yep. So now they're talking about hard times in marriage. Oh, great.
Well, and
we put everybody down.
I know.
No, I know.
Everyone gets old. You have to choose to grow up, and 100% I agree with that. And at the same time, as I chose to grow up, I realized I wanted to be more childlike. I wanted to let go of some of the strain that I assumed was part of being grown up and go spend more time with I realized life is too short. Oh my gosh, life is too short to be this stressed out and this angry because I've got a mortgage to pay. And so for us, this whole thing of going out and being somewhat, what a lot of people would think is irresponsible is a result of feeling like, if I don't have to hold on to this amount of anxiety, why am I holding on to it? And we don't have to leave for forever. But what if the Lord is taking us out of this for a moment?
Either for reprieve or to show us something that we haven't seen.
But yeah, I agree. I like being a grown-up as opposed to being a child. As long as I think that I go about it the right way, instead of just dumping on more responsibility to the point that I can't bear it. If that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So we only got a couple minutes left. Did you want to get to some of your questions? Michael R., did you get the geodesic dome up?
The geodesic dome is up. I don't have plastic on it yet. I have run out of brain power, money, and woofers.
Right. Sam Hollow Homestead yesterday celebrated 45-year anniversary. Happy anniversary, guys. Congratulations. Let's see, what else?
I know, right? And Mr. the Kid, we kind of wanted to come visit you, even though I know that you don't want videos taken. We did kind of want to come and say hi to you too. Right. But we understand if you're feeling a little too private.
Yes, I understand. Let's see. Yep, everybody is talking marriages now and anniversaries. That's good. You guys, wow, you guys have all been.
Well, and here's
sorry, Cinnamon's asking how we're going to do the net on the road. That's going to be one of the challenges that we're going to be looking forward to having.
Libraries, and if we have a host, if the host has some kind of internet, then that would make life a lot easier for us, because our videos do tend to be long and heavily edited. Yeah. And
getting more and more high definition too.
Yeah. And so we're going to have to kind of cram everything together, maybe go to the library for several hours and have the other parent go take the kids to the park or something like that. It will be interesting. I know we have
60 seconds, baby.
Okay, so go check out Tommy from the Off-Grid Nation.
Right.
He always has a really good show, and I totally missed Brad and Chris today, so I need to go back and watch their show. I keep missing everybody's shows because I have not been in front of my computer at all lately. It's been horrible, and I've missed you all.
Guys, we really appreciate you and all of your patience for the first third of each of our shows. I guess Google Plus is always here, and that will be our fallback position. Sorry to you guys on Facebook Live. We're trying. We'll get the bugs worked out just in time to move. So anyway, thanks all. We appreciate you. Love you. Have a great week. Get out. Really? Maybe. Yeah, we're going to keep waiting. Oh, look, my screen just logged up. Now the phone gives up, and we're going to lose it, and